for joining us. This is our second segment. That is second, two. We're still going to be talking about baseball here. We talked about Tim Tebow, the way that he was on the single A team for the New York Mets, which we thought was a big step.
Right.
We're really pulling for him. Tim Tebow had 2 home runs in his first full week of Major League Baseball, which was big news.
Minor League Baseball.
Is that? Oh, sorry. Did I say Major League?
It's all right, minor.
I'm thinking professional, and I said major. My bad. Thank you. Is it big news, or is it kind of what we expected, or is it just kind of?
As far as how quickly he got the home runs, yeah, I'm a little surprised just because it was the first week, and I don't think it's an accident that he's on the team. I do think that he's definitely gifted athletically, and he's definitely got a chance to make it. Because he's not the most technically sound person, but he's got the heart for it, and I think that's why he'll make it. But I'm actually surprised that he's doing this well, although the batting average, not really surprised for how low it is at 156, and then his on-base percentage is 224. So I guess that's kind of expected for someone that's never played baseball since high school, so he's years removed from that, but he's been practicing with some retired Major League players. So I don't know. Well, actually, I'll like to see how he does more so after the midpoint of the season to see where he's at, and if he can belt out some more home runs, that's good. I don't know if maybe that's what he's going for, is being a power hitter because he is so big. But, I'm really encouraged that he's got this many home runs this soon. And, I see here that he's batting 8th on the lineup, which, is probably expected considering he's the one with the least amount of experience. But I think he's right on track. If anything, he's a little ahead of the schedule just because of how much, what he's done so far, especially the first week. So I'm sure there's a learning curve that's going on with the season. That's probably why he's maybe in a mini slump. But I wouldn't put it past Tim Tebow to figure it out. So,
when I first heard that he had 2 home runs in the first week, I was like, man, that's great. Good for him. It's kind of something that I expected. He's a big guy, like you said.
Mm-hmm. He's
He's always been a guy who's kind of built a little bit bigger than most people are.
Right.
His work ethic is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
To hit 2 home runs in 1 week, it honestly doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
It's minor league baseball. Yes, it's still guys who are professional, but it's still, to me, it is impressive.
Yeah.
But the thing that you see is you understand now how hard baseball really is.
Right.
Yes, the guy is so strong. He got a hold of a couple. His first at bat was a home run, which was really encouraging. I thought that was great.
Which is ironic too, because his first at bat in the spring training.
Oh.
First pitch he saw was a home run.
Oh yeah.
And ironically, his first at bat in the single A. We're getting too much there. Single A, it was a home run. So it's kind of ironic that each at bat he kind of belts one out, and I think almost that says that pitchers are kind of taking him for granted.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of figuring him out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he figured it out throughout the season. So.
But it shows you how hard baseball really is because he's batting 156.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's terrible. His on-base percentage is 224, which is what you alluded to. He's 3rd worst on the team.
Mm-hmm.
3rd worst. And that is even worse because he's mainly batting 8th in the lineup every time he plays. So that's bad. If you want to make a statement, if you want to get to AA, your bat needs to definitely get more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see, and I think the Mets are the same way. You'd rather see Tim Tebow either swing for power, and that's it. So if he can hit 30 homers in single A, I think he would be called up to AA. Honestly, that's what I believe.
I will say this though, I'm a little curious to know, because I'm sure he's got a high strikeout percentage. I'm sure he's striking out. I'm sure he's not just hitting infield pop flies or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he's probably striking out. And I'm curious, how are pitchers getting him out? I'm sure it's not through fastballs. I'm pretty sure it's probably chasing pitches out of the zone. So if that's the case, then maybe he should exercise a little bit of patience and find out if he can be more strategic when he's in the batter's box, knowing that, he's not going to always hit a home run, but he's got to get on base somehow. And I'm just curious at how his strikeout is and what he's striking out on, honestly. So
I'm going to look that up right now. He's got 13 strikeouts so far in 12 games.
Wow.
So he's striking out a little more than once per game. That's not good.
I'm almost for sure to say that those are probably chasing. I'm sure they're not. Pitchers aren't trying to challenge, how fast they can throw it past him, because Tim Tebow, even though he's got kind of a little bit of a shaky swing, he can still hit one, obviously, with the 2 home runs. But I would almost be safe to say that most of those strikeouts are probably chasers, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they're off speed, just to kind of throw them off, because I'm sure Tebow right now is still figuring out how to connect the ball to get it in field, but I'm sure pitchers are using that to their advantage by making him chase, making him, kind of look to judge if it's even in the zone or not, probably getting the corners on him. But I doubt very much so that most of his outs are on, ground outs or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's a chasing out of the zone kind of thing.
If he also wants to be called up, rather than just going for power, would be hitting for average. And I told you, if he wants to be called up to AA, he's going to have to be a 280 or higher hitter. And that's because of how old he is in baseball. You're in single A and you're almost 30, or you are 30. You better be hitting for over 300. Honestly, you should be. You need to be consistent. They want you to move up in the ranks really quickly. Because of how old you are.
Right.
So they need to see it now, and that's why this Tim Tebow thing is so delicate, because you want him to be great,
right?
But he's basically learning.
You're looking at his window of a 5-year period, essentially.
He's a 30-year-old guy who is learning the game of baseball all over again, and that's why it's such a risk to take him. But you see the encouraging thing side of he hit 2 home runs in 1 week. That's great, and he actually leads the team. No one else has 2 home runs. All the other guys have either 1 or none, and so that's good. He's the power hitter of that team.
Right.
But if you're batting 8th and you're the power hitter, you're not doing so hot.
Right.
And that shows, because he's hitting 156. Yeah, he's not getting as many at-bats as, if he were hitting 4th or 3rd.
But I think that's also
he's got 45 at-bats is what I saw. And he struck out 13 times. And he got 2 home runs. He has to get either more consistent with the bat, or he's just going to have to swing for the fences.
Honestly, I don't see him actually after the end of probably their single A season. I don't see AA calling him. If he does make a huge progression, I think honestly what I can see is probably him finishing the season under 200 batting average and probably a 230 on base percentage. That seems like what he's at right now, and I don't know how far along they are in their league, but just looking at the numbers, batting in 8th, doesn't have as many opportunities as 4th, but I don't know. As far as his progression, I really hope that he does really well, and heaven help him that he goes on some really long hitting streak that kind of boosts that average and on base percentage and makes it look really good. But I don't see him moving out of single A for at least a season or 2. So I think this is where they're teaching him how to be more methodical in baseball, and then I think after year 3 is where you'll see him really take a step forward, maybe go to AA. And I know that you alluded to his age, because he's, I think, either 29 or 30 right now, so that's a little older for a prospect, really old for a prospect. But I also think about it like this. He's also had almost 3 to 4 years of not really doing anything competitive, as far as no football, no baseball, nothing professional. So, other than training, he hasn't really put any real, strain on his body. So I think that's kind of bought him a little bit more time. I wouldn't be surprised let's hypothetically say he does make it into the majors, and he's productive. I do think that he can probably play into his late 30s, maybe even in his early 40s, if he makes it. Because he does have, I think, more years on the back end, that he still has from not working so hard in his, the end of his 20s, in my opinion.
And that's the beauty of baseball, is you can play. You can still play competitively and you be almost in your 40s or in your 40s. Now, pitchers tend to be a little bit better at doing that than hitters, but you know, there's still a lot of guys who've played, you know, when they passed 40, and they still were very productive. I mean, Barry Bonds was that kind of guy.
Right.
It just, everyone is different. I feel like the way that Tim Tebow keeps his body in shape, I think you're absolutely right. I think he could play into his 40s if he can't get into the majors.
Right.
Now, if he doesn't show any sign of improvement and can't get past AA, because I really believe that he will get to AA. I don't think the Mets have taken him into single A and be like, well, he's not working out, so let's take him.
Right.
Because they've invested a lot into him, and that's truthfully. And there's a lot of, you know, eyes on him, and if he doesn't stay with the Mets, someone else is going to pick him up. So I feel like the Mets will try him out in AA. If he doesn't do well, they'll probably get rid of him. I'm sure there's going to be another team that will get him. But if he wants to get past that AA, get into AAA and eventually get into the majors, he's either going to have to do one or the other. With the Mets, the way their team is built, either hitting for home runs a ton or hitting for average, that's how he'll get up. I mean, his defense, I'm not too worried. He's got speed. He's shown flashes of greatness with his glove. I know it was spring training, but, you know, you can see the competitive juices flowing, and that is good when you see him diving for the ball. That's going to get him confidence, and that's going to definitely help his cause for sure. So, thank you guys. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Drew Code Sports Talk. Thank you.